Welcome to the Rye Burton annual tradition, where we take all the games from this year being 2023, and narrowing them down to an official top 10 list. There's a lot of great games this year like Forspoken. So let's get on to start ranking these games. I'm excited, so you better be excited. And if you disagree with me at any point in this list, make sure to leave your complaints in the comments below. I'm sure someone will validate your point, but it won't be me. So let's get right into number 10. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. After Fortnite revolutionized the web-slinging mechanic, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 stepped up to plate to perfect that mechanic. Yes, they may have copied Fortnite, but it's okay. I've almost run out of ways to talk about Insomniac's Spider-Man games. They're always good. Am I right or am I right? A perfect evolution of the web-slinging bedlam of the mid-2000s licensed tie-ins to the Tobey Maguire films, which were locked into the disk drives of every single PlayStation 2 around the country and or planet for years. You take control as either Peter Parker or Miles Morales, and you untangle another fiction-spinning Marvel tale with a cornucopia of familiar characters like Crime Master, while taking breaks to fight crime all over New York City with one of the simplest and most acrobatic combat systems ever designed. It turns out that webbing a would-be bank robber to a subway wall before he can pull the trigger on his revolver still feels awesome. I mean, who would have guessed? Is Spider-Man 2 transcendent? No. Not quite. The design is too safe and the mechanics are well worn, but in an odd way. I don't mean that as a gripe. There is a coziness to Insomniac games that keep me coming back year after year after year after year after year after year. To hell with ambition! At number 9, we have Lies of P. I heard a lot of jokes roaming around the internet sphere this year about P meaning penis. Guys, what grade are we in? Are we serious? Is this freshman year at high school? No, we've grown and matured. There's no shortage of video games eager to ape the Dark Souls formula, but Lies of P is the only one headstrong enough to transport the tough-as-nails swords play system to a Clockwork Dickinson dystopia, with a main character who looks quite a bit like Timothy Chalamet, a complex integer-heavy character sheet that can be extrapolated towards a huge variety of combat systems. Check. A cast of duplicitous NPCs dispensing elliptical dialogue hinting at larger, cryptic forces at play in the universe? Yep, that's in there too. A whole bunch of terrifying boss encounters against twisted aberrations haunting this cursed city? Absolutely! One of them is literally a gigantic disfigured wind-up toy soldier. Its name is literally Parade Master. How can you get more creative than that? Lies of P knows where its bread is buttered, but it also wears a cloying, dark Victorian aesthetic with respectable gusto. We might be years away from Bloodborne 2, but at least we have something to savor the memory. At number 8, we have Resident Evil 4. This game has the scariest intro of any game ever created ever. I mean, have you heard the guy at the front say Resident Evil 4? You know what I mean? I have a lot of fond memories playing the original Resident Evil 4 back in like 1999 on my Nintendo 64. I remember one time we were at my grandma's funeral and this TV was hooked up to show her pictures for some reason. So I made sure to unplug it and start playing Resident Evil 4 instead. And then during the ceremony when my grandpa was speaking why he loved her so much, everyone started gasping because I was shooting zombies on the screen. Like, what the fuck is their problem? They'd never seen like guns before? In the 90s, the Resident Evil series was built around primitive controls, tedious backtracking, and mind-numbingly barrack puzzle solving. The creepy, steely, corporate occult atmosphere clung to the walls, but actually, playing those early relics in the franchise was a chore. That all changed in 2005 when Capcom pivoted to a modern over-the-shoulder camera vantage and brokered a golden age of zombie slaying with Resident Evil 4. The universally acclaimed title maintained the dusky, accursed vibes of the world, while delivering one of the greatest action games of the last 2 decades. Our protagonist Leon Kennedy fends off aquatic behemoths, deranged cultists, and hordes of undead with nervy, tight gunplay. Never again will you ever fuss around with an awkward analog stick orientation. Resident Evil 4 has just been remastered. Right now, this very moment I'm recording this, in scintillating 4K. For anyone who didn't enjoy the adventure 20 years ago, it's about time to see what all the fuss is about. At number 7, we have Pikmin 4. The only reason that it's on this list is because of the meme that goes like, Pikmin, Pikmin, Pikmin. And that's it, that's the only reason. The microbial world of Pikmin has always taken a backseat to Nintendo's illustrious pantheon of Mario, Zelda, and Metroid. Which is to say, nobody should be surprised that it's taken the company a decade to make the 4th entry in this series. The fundamentals here are the same from what you remember on the GameCube. You're an inch-tall alien explorer on the abandoned post-collapse planet Earth, who is able to communicate and organize a race of tiny, delightfully cute creatures who can be ordered to retrieve the world's treasure. In quotes. Read. Detritus left behind by the conspicuously absent humans. Think of it as a light, colorful, real-time strategy game. Sometimes you'll need to wield a certain type of elemental Pikmin, like the turquoise ones who can freeze water, to clear a blocked path. Elsewhere, you'll need to muster them in tight battalions to fend off flesh-eating amphibians who want you dead. Pikmin might not be Tears of the Kingdom, what is? But it's a tiny triumph. At number 6, we have Pizza Tower. This game is cool because it looks like it was all drawn in MS Paint. And it's on here because my friend Nick kept bribing me to put it in the list because it has the word pizza in it. So take it that what you will. The best indie designers tend to extrapolate upon a video game they themselves sunk zillions of hours into during their youth. For Pizza Tower, the nerve center is the Wario Land series from Nintendo, which dominated a whole lot of Game Boy Colors in the mid-1990s. Those games swapped out the agile platforming of the mother New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe 32 seconds divided by 5 weeks franchise for ground-bound left-to-right plod. Wario doesn't jump over obstacles in his path. He lowers his shoulder and smashes their head in. Pizza Tower replaces Wario with a madcap pizza chef lost in a garnish, hand-scrawled Ren and Stimpy-esque universe. That textbook Wario Land sense of momentum is much more impactful with our modern processing power compared to what that little piece of shit Game Boy was capable of on his tiny 8-bit CPU. And the development team toward the pizza mustered a remarkable amount of polish for what is a fairly twee project. Personally, I can't wait until they take on Wario World. At number 5, we have System Shock. Now, some of you might be saying, Ryan, what the fuck is System Shock? Now, let me tell you what System Shock is. System Shock is one of the most important video games of all time. It arrived in 1994 during the zenith of the first-person shooter boom. But unlike schlocky meathead run-and guns such as Doom and Duke Nukem, System Shock fine-tuned a slow-paced, atmosphere-heavy campaign in which an icy sci-fi story slowly comes into view through a mosaic of audio logs and text clippings, which personally is my favorite type of gameplay. Reading things and just listening to things while just standing and doing nothing is my favorite part of any video game ever. It also, unfortunately, not aged very well, which is why it is such a blessing that the remake authors at Night Dive Studios have put together a to the studs conversion that replaces the janky controls, questionable voice acting, and flimsy graphics with text logs and audio logs. Oh wait, shit, that wasn't it. With a glistening modern sheen. It turns out the spirit of System Shock was always indelible. The game just needed a fresh coat of paint. At number 4, we have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. On my list, this would have been at number 1. With 2017's Breath of the Wild, Nintendo ditched its tried and true Zelda formula entirely and built an earthen, meditative adventure out of a limitless incarnation of Hyrule. Link was no longer forced to go from dungeon to dungeon, deciphering clockwork puzzles in a linear march to the finish line. Instead, after getting your bearings, you simply choose a direction on the horizon and see what you might discover. Tears of the Kingdom somehow doubles Breath of the Wild's expansive scope. The direct sequel is dotted with floating islands in the sky and benthic caverns deep underground, all of which can be explored with carts, flying machines, and hot air balloons that can be fused together with surprising intuition. Just like the previous game, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Nintendo has totally reinvented Zelda twice in 6 years, and both times it wound up with a new classic. I only played the original Alan Wake because it was on the Xbox Game Pass, and since Alan Wake 2 isn't on the Xbox Game Pass, I haven't played it yet, so that's why it's at number 3. The first Alan Wake was a labor of love, developed in fits and starts by the odorous Finns over at Remedy Studio. The production was famously tortured. In total, the game took 5 years to make. Its sequel, released more than a decade later, does not come bundled with the same troubled origin story, but it perfectly iterates the original sense of uncanny suspense. Less of a horror story, more of a psychological detective adventure. You take control of Saga Anderson, an FBI agent sent to investigate the eldritch disappearance of the namesake author, and obvious Stephen King stand-in. Remedy has broadened its scope by making Alan Wake 2 far more exploration heavy and self-directed compared to its typical, regimented, highly intentional narratives. But don't you worry, even when players are left to their own devices, the game is still slathered with plenty of the studio's trademark clammy weirdness, with layers and layers of intertextual references fusing the player with the controller and the lost souls on screen. Never change, Remedy. Never change. At number 2, we have Street Fighter 6. For the longest time, I've been the biggest fighting game fan. I've gone to games like Clay Fighter, the original Virtual Fighter, Guilty Gear Strive, Shaq Fu, but this might just be the best one I've played ever. The much anticipated Street Fighter 6 has taken some bold risks for a series that has never strayed far from its austere arcade roots. There is a Yakuza 6 The Song of Life-like RPG campaign, world tour, in which you cook up a customizable character and rendezvous with various Capcom luminarities. This dovetails nicely into the new multiplayer saloon, which functions a bit like a capital city in an MMO. You rub shoulders with other Street Fighter upstarts and sit down at virtual arcade cabinets when you're ready to rumble, and not to mention you can have sex and kiss with them too. But none of these features would work if the basic fighting mechanics had lost their splendor, and I am pleased to report that the nervy pugilistic feint and counterpunch magic of Street Fighter is right at home in 2023. Best of all, a new control scheme vastly simplifies special move inputs, allowing all of our old thumbs, I'm talking to you, John, to summon up a Shoryuken. You stupid. You stupid. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Starfield, Dave the Diver, Garten of Banban 2, and last but not least, Baldur's Gate 3. "2023 had a lot of amazing games, but only one of them reigns supreme." I know this is going to be pretty obvious, I feel bad, but listen, this game, literally, I'm not joking here, changed how I perceived life. This game made me laugh, made me cry, it hooked me in with its amazing narrative and graphics and voice acting, and that game is obviously Garten of Banban 4. with Choo Choo Charles. Garten of Banban 4 is nothing short of a masterpiece, seamlessly blending an engaging narrative with innovative gameplay that keeps the players on the edge of their seats. From the moment the player steps into the world of Garten of Banban on that elevator, they are taken on a thrilling journey that is filled with surprises, challenges, and emotional moments. The storyline takes unexpected turns with I forgot his name, the frog dude, leading the charge, and Tamataki and Chamataki adding a dynamic element of pursuit. The game's protagonist faces kidnapping, dream sequences, and a quest for elevator parts that evolves from a rescue mission into a complex layered narrative. The characters, each with their unique personalities and roles, contribute the overall richness of the plot. One standout moment that tugged at the heartstrings was the appearance of Choo Choo Charles. The mere sight of this beloved character elicited a wave of emotions, bringing tears to the eyes of players who have followed the series from its earlier installments. Garten of Banban 4 successfully weaves nostalgia with the new elements, creating an emotional connection that transcends the virtual world. The gameplay mechanics are as diverse as the plot itself. From navigating through challenging hallways pursued by Tamaki and Chakataka to facing off against Bitter Giggles traps. Each sector offers a unique set of challenges. The vent sector and the feeding sector showcase the game's puzzle-solving aspects, providing a perfect balance between exploration and strategic thinking. The character development is another highlight, especially Banban's introduction as the Uthman Adam. The dream sequence crafted by Stinger Flynn adds depth to the narrative, immersing players in a world that goes beyond the confines of the game itself. Notably, the emotional intensity of the game is complemented by Banban's fight with Nab Nab in the feeding sector, adding a layer of excitement and unpredictability. The decision to go alone to the employees' exercise sector for the final elevator part sets the stage for a thrilling conclusion. Garten of Banban 4 is more than just a game. It's an emotional roller coaster that captivates players from start to finish. The tears shed at the sight of Choo Choo Charles. With its intricate plot, diverse gameplay, and unforgettable characters, Garten of Banban 4 has rightfully earned its place as one of the best games ever, period. Another year, another top 10 list made. Some of you guys might disagree with me on this list, and that's okay. Make sure to go to the comments below and tell me which games you would have put on this year's list. And I'll make sure to read it, disagree, and then tell you why your opinion is wrong. If you like this shitty video, I have 10 times better content all over my channel, so you might like any of these videos. They're way more highly edited and better in every single way possible. And if you like my videos and want more, I have a second channel where I post weekly. It's more relaxed content, so maybe if you like this video, you'll like the ones on there. And with all that bullshit out of the way, I just want to thank you guys for another good year. I love making videos for you guys to watch, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm getting a new mic because this mic sucks and picks up literally everything. Anyways, again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and have a good new year, I guess.